So in the previous video, we have discussed about types of memory and how the memory may plays major role inside the computer system, right? Okay, so in this video, so we are going to discuss about how the data will be stored inside the memory, right? So here you already knows that your system can understand only ones and zeros, right? So whatever data you are feeding to the system, so it will be stored in the form of zeros and ones, right? Okay, so how your memory in the form, right? So your memory is a collection of memory cells, right? Each memory cell can hold only one bit, so either 0 or 1, right? So these are the two bits your memory cell can hold at a time, right? Only one bit at a time, right? In the screen you can see that one particular memory cell, so 4 functional points are there. So one is a select point, and another one is a read or write point, another one is an input point, another one is an output point, right? Always if you wanted to store anything into the particular memory cell, you need to select that memory cell, right? So for that select function point can be used, right? You need to select the memory cell. So after that you wanted to read or write the data from the memory cell or to the memory cell. So for that you need to select that functional point, that is read or write, right? So if you are going to read, then you need to use the functional point of output, right? That is a third one. And fourth one is the input. If you want to write something into the memory cell, at that time you need to select that input. So these are the 4 functional point will have it in each memory cell, right? Already I have mentioned that your memory in the system is a collection of memory cells. Each memory cell can hold only one bit, either 0 or 1. Here we are going to see that one particular example. If I want to store decimal value 1 into the memory, right? So how this decimal value will be stored into the system memory, right? Okay, so there are 4 formats available. So I can store the my data value, right? That is a decimal value 1 into the system in the format of binary, right? So my decimal value will be converted into a binary format. Then that binary value will be stored into the memory, right? Example, if I wanted to convert my decimal value into binary, that is a formats, right? So 4-bit format or 8-bit format or 16-bit format or 32-bit format, right? But your memory cell can hold only 1 bit at a time, right? So now here 4 bits format, right? 4-bit format. So you can see it in the screen. So if I'm converting my decimal value into a 4-bit, so 0001, that is a 4-bit format. But if I'm going to the 8-bit format, so 0000, that is the first 4 bits, and second 4 bits will be 0001. So this is the 8-bit format. Now, if you want to store this decimal value in the 4-bit format into your memory, how many memory cells are required? 4 memory cells are required, right? So in the next screen, you can see that one particular memory cell can hold only 1 bit. So 4 bits, if you want to store it in the memory, so 4 memory cells are required. But if you want to store the same decimal value into a 8-bit format, you need 8 memory cells, right? So to hold 8 bits. So first 4 bits will be 000, then another 4 bits will be 00001. Right? So this is how, right? So if you want to convert into a 16-bit, again 16 memory cells are required. And same way, if you want to store it in 32-bit, again 32 memory cells are required. Here you can see it in the screen, one particular website I have referred, right? So in this website, you can see that if I want to store integer data value, so how many bits are required, how many bytes are required, right? And if I want to store character data type into the memory, how many bytes are required, all these things, right? So based on this particular website, I have referred that integer data type, right? So integer data type, if you want to store it in the system memory, so how much it's required? So 4 bytes are required. This is a standard format. So 4 bytes are required to store integer data type into a memory. Now the another question is, what is bit and what is byte? In the screen, first is a bit, right? Is a basic unit, right? Bit. Then if you are moving to the byte, how many bits are required? 8 bits equivalent to 1 byte, right? Now another conversion is 1024 bytes equivalent to 1 kilobyte, right? So usually you can say that 1 KB, right? Now if you're moving to the megabytes, that is MB. So 1024 kilobytes equivalent to 1 megabyte, that is equivalent to 1 MB, right? Now if you're moving to the gigabytes, right? So 1024 MB is equal to 1 gigabyte, that is 1 GB, right? Now if you're moving to the terabyte, right? So 1 TB. So now you can see it in the many websites. They are saying that your hard disk, you can use 1 TB hard disk. What is your system specification? Like that, whenever you are checking the system specification, there will be a hard disk, right? 1 TB hard disk. So what is the value of 1 TB hard disk? 1024 GB is equivalent to 1 TB. Right. Now we have seen that 1 bit, then 8 bits equivalent to 1 byte, then 1024 bytes equivalent to 1 kilobyte. Like that, we have seen up to 1 TB. Right. Now, so in the previous one, we have discussed that one integer data type, if you want to store it in the memory, how much it is required, right? Already I have mentioned that 4 bytes are required to store one integer data type into the memory, right? Okay, so now what is the meaning of 4 bytes? So 1 byte is equal to 8 bits. So 4 into 8, so 32 bits equivalent to 4 bytes, right? So how you are going to store it in the system, right? So here 1 bit you can store it in 1 memory cell, right? So now if you wanted to store 32 bit value into the memory, right? How many memory cells are required? 32 memory cells are required to hold one integer data type, right? So now you can understand that how your data will be stored into the memory and in what format, right? Bit, byte, all these things, right? And same time here I have posted some of the questions. You can answer these questions, right? If you want to store one character data type and how many bits are required. If you want to store one float data type into the memory, how many bits are required, right? And 1 GB memory holds how many bits, right? These are the questions. You can calculate it and you can find out how many bits and you can understand the bit, byte and memory, right? Okay.